Welcome to Chris Allen's podcast. And here comes the show. Alright, guys, for any regular listeners of the show, you notice the intro has changed. The name of the show has changed, and I'm drinking, which is not something I normally do. Note to everybody, if you're going to drink, caught it on sale, amazingly enough. The Jim Beam Apple is really, really good. Has a little bit of a kick, though. Woo. Good stuff. I don't normally drink, let alone drink on a podcast. But took a break, and had to do a whole lot of thinking, and a whole lot of doing, and a whole lot of picking up the pieces and figuring life out, and got to thinking about my dad. And it's not something I've talked about on the show, but my dad died a little while ago. It's been a minute, but yeah, it still hurts like it happened yesterday. Anybody who's lost a parent, I'm sure, understands, especially a parent that meant so much to him and was such an inspiration. My dad loved my podcast shows. He loved me and supported everything I did. And my dad's the reason I love comedy so much. He's always one of the first people to call and tell me one of the bad jokes, and some of them I've used on the show. Me and him, I tell a story. It's on the Outrageous Stories podcast about doing stand-up with my dad, and how he almost got us killed. And my dad meant a lot to me. He was an important part of my life. I don't think I've ever recovered from the phone call I got in the middle of the night saying he passed. I mean, he was in the hospital, but he wasn't super sick. It was just normal stuff, you know? And I literally was like 3 o'clock in the morning, but I'm a late person. I work late shifts. And I was doing laundry and my washing machine had clogged. And I don't even have a front loading washing machine, but there's a little filter thing on the bottom. You got to take it off, and water goes everywhere, so you got to shop vac it up, and then you got to pull out the thing and get the clog out. And it's a rosy red pain in the butt, but it's not the end of the world. And I was doing that and got the call. And then the person who called me was my stepmother. She really couldn't talk anymore, so I called other people. And after I called another person, I really couldn't talk anymore. And so they called another person, and everybody found out. And it was a sad moment. And I don't think I ever properly dealt with it. And it's been hard for me the last couple years to deal with that. Never really have. I am now a little bit. And it hurts, and it's a struggle. But it's a real thing that I'm dealing with. And kind of caught up to me a lot of things. Cost me a lot because I didn't share like I should have. Put a strain on everything in my life, including my now non-existent marriage. I wasn't paying attention like I should have because I wasn't dealing with the things I needed to deal with. And all that kind of caught up to me in the last couple of weeks and kind of put me in the mood. And I just didn't feel like recording. Kind of hurt a lot of things. And I wanted to apologize for all the listeners for that, because I'm sure there's at least 2 of you who actually like the show. But it made me also want to change. The more I thought about it, and the more I wanted to honor my father rather than hide behind a gimmick or a mask or whatever. Because I did. I hid behind it. And not in a, oh, I'm so afraid of the world. No, I am. Just, I thought it was a funny thing. I used to love to make my dad laugh. The harder I get my dad to laugh, the better it was. I used to get him laughing so hard where he'd be clutching his chest, and no, I'm having a heart attack way, but in the I can't breathe because I can't stop laughing kind of way, and he'd smack me and tell me to shut up so he could catch his breath. And of course, I wouldn't shut up because that's what a-hole kids do. And nothing made me happier than those moments when my dad was laughing so hard that he was trying to hit me to get me to shut up. And he loved it when I got angry and told a story. And that's where the Angry Ninja came from. Was stories I would tell and be angry about and still keep it funny. And those were my dad's favorite stories. And trust me, I'm still going to be angry. But putting the podcast out there under the guise of Angry Ninja Show, doesn't honor my father. And I don't care if this show becomes super popular. I don't care if I get 1 download or 1 million downloads. But I want the show to honor my father. To honor the Allen family name. I want every show to be special for him. The person who made me listen to comedy albums, well, didn't make me, gave me access to comedy albums at ages I definitely should not have been listening to them. I listened to Eddie Murphy Raw when I was 8. Probably not a good idea, and good Lord, get away with playing that one now. Oh my God. I'm surprised they haven't tried to cancel Eddie Murphy for that one, but it is what it is, and it was hilarious, and it was a great show. And George Carlin, and the Cheech and Chong albums, and just all this great comedy my dad exposed me to and watched. The Bill Maher Golden Goose special, my first time watching Bill Maher, who is an inspiration to my comedy. Bill Maher is one of my heroes. Man, I'd love to be on his show. I think me and him could have some serious conversations. Bill Maher is amazing. Took me to my first comedy club. Took me to see my first comedy. Introduced me to Tim Wilson. Tim Wilson became a family friend until he passed. He mentions my family in his book because we helped him. Sat with him and gave him ideas for his book because he wrote a book about Ted Bundy. Gave me that love for comedy, that love for being intelligent and reading and being able to discuss it. That's all because of my dad. The person I am right now, every part of me that I'm proud of, the comedy, the ability, the intelligence, the talking, and everything else, it's all me trying to emulate my dad. And by my, I'm not dishing on my mom at all. My mom helped raise me. My mom loved me. My mom bought me the books. But deep down, I think she knows that I got a lot of that from my dad. My horrible sense of humor, I definitely got from my dad. And that's real. So I want everybody to know that I'm going to keep doing the show. The title's different. The format might be a little bit different. I'm not going to break down each episode. I'm just going to start talking, and what I talk about, I talk about. Whether it's a story or me making fun of Majora Taylor Greene or whatever it is. That is for my father. My inspiration. I regret lots of things in my life. And I always will regret lots of things in my life. But regrets are lessons. Regrets help you grow. Regrets aren't a bad thing. If you look back at your life and regret nothing, you didn't live. There's one regret that I wish I could change more than any other. The day of my dad's funeral, I wanted to get up and speak. And I had the opportunity. It wasn't like I was the shunned black sheep of the family. My dad was the black sheep of the family, so we were all shunned, whatever. But everybody was there because everybody loved my dad. Even though my dad was such an asshole. Yes, my dad was an asshole, and so am I. Everybody still loved him. And everybody was there. I wanted to get up and speak, and I couldn't. Not because I'm afraid of speaking in public. Obviously, that doesn't bother me. But I guess I couldn't speak. That day broke me. My brother got up and spoke. And I will love him forever for that day. And he literally got up there and read some of my dad's jokes and said beautiful things. And it was wonderful. And I want to say this. I've put this up on Facebook, so if you're friends with me on Facebook, you already know, but I want to say this. I wanted to get up there and talk about something. It hung on my father's wall my entire life that I remember. And it said, anybody can be a father. It takes someone special to be a dad, to be a daddy. And that quote's not perfect, but it's close. And I wanted to tell everybody he was my dad. He wasn't just a father. He was daddy. He was great. He was wonderful. And this show's for you, Dad. I'm still going to get angry and tell funny stories. I'm not going to be no angry ninja no more. I'm not going to be some character. I'm going to be me. I'm going to be that kid you wanted me to be. Be that man you wanted me to be. I'm going to be a great podcaster, you know. And I wonder all the time about when it's your time to go. Do you know? How well do you know? And I think my dad was sick and didn't tell us for a while. Because he always bought Christmas presents in advance. That's just my dad. He never wanted to be left to the last minute. And this is something he gave me after he passed. It was the last Christmas present he bought me. It was a keychain. And you'll think, what kind of Christmas present's a keychain? Well, I think my dad knew he was sick. I think my dad knew what was coming. He wouldn't tell anybody. That's my dad. Tough little asshole. He wouldn't have said anything. But I think he knew. I think when he bought this present for me, and for all the children, that he knew that it was the last present he was going to buy. It was a keychain. And yeah, I'm crying right now, but yeah, whatever. I will read what it says. To my son, never forget I love you forever. I hope you believe in yourself as much as I believe in you. Right? How about that for Christmas right after? I've been thinking about that. And I'm going to be a better son. And I'm going to honor the family name. And every show I now record, I'm keeping that in mind. So the name of the show now is going to be the name. It's my name. The Chris Allen's Podcast. Because the Allen name meant a lot to my father. He cared a lot. He was proud. He's proud of everything he came from and he accomplished. And he should have been Army Sergeant. Served until he couldn't serve anymore because he got hurt. He would have probably stayed and served longer if they'd let him. But, you know, when you can't walk without a limp anymore because your knee's shot, you can't serve anymore. And I don't mean shot with a gun. I mean, he was a mechanic and he fell off of those giant trucks and tore every ligament in his knee that he could possibly tear. And this is back in the 70s. There wasn't no fixing it. Doctors did the best they could, but it ain't like now. And then he served protecting the people of the great state of Kentucky for 20 years in corrections. And he did good there, too. He was a good man, and he was proud of his family name. So no more gimmicks, no more Angry Ninja, no more none of that. The show's going to try to honor my father. And when you're like, oh my God, the jokes you tell, they ain't honoring nobody. No, if you knew my dad, you know them jokes honor my dad and exactly what he would have said. And it's the exact same jokes I tell him, laughing so hard that he'd hit me to get me to stop. That's what it's going to be from now on. I'm going to try to get I'm trying to get my brother back on and do sports again. Because I love doing the sports with my brother, but I got caught up in my life and doing my shit and just didn't get around to it. And that was my fault. I'm going to try to get my sister on and maybe tell some fun stories about Dad so you can understand what I know. And my nieces and nephews and just everybody. The show now is going to be a little different, maybe. I don't know, but I love it. I got Angry Tell Stories, so I'm probably still going to get Angry Tell Stories. But I want the show to reflect what my dad would have wanted. My dad wanted me to succeed in everything I did, not hide behind a silly gimmick. So I welcome everybody to the newly christened Chris Allen's podcast. And I hope you enjoy the show. And we got a little sad on this one, but that's okay. We're going to end with a horrible, horrible joke that my dad would have loved. So here we go. Here's a joke my dad would have loved that everybody's going to think is horrible. I don't care. What is Jesus' least favorite candy? M&M's, because they won't melt in his hand. They just fall through. All right, guys. Y'all have a wonderful day. Hope you enjoyed the show. There's 2 shows on the network to enjoy. The Chris Allen Podcast and Middle of the Road with Chris Allen and Jason E. Jones. By all means, listen to both shows. If you want to support the shows, patreon.com/worstjokes. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us on Facebook on the Chris Allen Podcast page, or you can find us on Twitter at cman2342. By all means, check out one of those places. Send us a message. We're also on YouTube. Find us on YouTube, and it's all good stuff. Again, if you want to be on the show, send us a DM. Have you on the show, tell a story, tell a joke, whatever you want to do. We will look forward to hearing from you guys soon, and everybody have a wonderful night.